Once upon a time in ancient Greece, there was a beautiful princess named Leda from Aetolia. One day, she caught the eye of the mighty Greek god Zeus, who took on the form of a swan to approach her. At first, Leda was afraid of the swan. However, she soon allowed the bird to come close to her and lay with her. Unbeknownst to Leda, she was about to have a divine encounter that would change her life forever. Shortly after their encounter, Leda laid 2 eggs. Each egg contained 2 children, and Leda was surprised to learn that the father of her children was Zeus, the king of the gods. From the first egg hatched 2 children, one was Helen, known as the most beautiful woman in the world. The other was her brother Polydeuces, a son of Zeus. Helen's beauty was so great that it has been said to have sparked the famous Trojan War. For the second egg, Castor, a mortal son of Leda's husband Tyndareus, hatched along with his twin sister Clytemnestra. Clytemnestra later married the famous Greek king, Agamemnon. Leda's story became a popular subject in Renaissance art, which often depicted her in the act of being seduced by the swan. Her beauty, particularly her black hair and snow-white skin, is also a notable element in the story, making it one of the most famous myths of ancient Greece. Leda was known throughout the land for her breathtaking beauty, dazzling all who looked upon her with just a glimpse. Even the gods could not help but take notice, and none more so than Zeus himself. With his heart set on seducing Leda, the king of the gods decided to take on the form of a swan to win her over. One day, while Leda was out for a walk, an eagle spotted the disguised Zeus and began to pursue him. Desperate for protection, Zeus flew into Leda's arms, and in that moment, their fates were sealed. That very night, Leda lay with both Zeus and her husband, Tyndareus, unknowingly conceiving 2 eggs. To everyone's surprise, the eggs hatched, revealing 4 children, Helen, Clytemnestra, and Castor and Pollux. But the mystery of who fathered whom remained, with differing accounts about who was mortal and who was immortal. Homer's Iliad suggests that Helen was Zeus's daughter, while another myth claims that Nemesis was her mother. In this version of events, a shepherd found an egg laid by Nemesis after being impregnated by the swan-like Zeus. The shepherd gave the egg to Leda, who incubated it until Helen emerged, at which point she was raised as Leda's own child. Zeus then celebrated her birth by creating the Cygnus constellation as a commemorative symbol in the sky. In the end, the story of Leda and the swan produced a legacy that continues to captivate and intrigue people to this day, with endless possibilities and interpretations. Leda grew up as the daughter of Aetolian king Theseus, although her mother's identity is uncertain. Despite this uncertainty, there are numerous accounts of Leda's childhood, which are full of interesting details. Some sources suggest that her mother was Leucippe, while others point to Didymaea, Eurythemis, or Laophonte as possibilities. As a young woman, Leda caught the eye of many suitors, with some claiming that she was the daughter of Glaucus and Laophonte. Others, however, insisted that her true parentage was Sisyphus and Pantiadeia or Paneidia. Ultimately, Leda wed the Spartan king Tyndareus and bore him several children. Leda's most famous child was Helen of Troy, whose beauty was said to have launched 1,000 ships. Clytemnestra, Castor, and Pollux were also born to Leda and Tyndareus, though they were not as famous as Helen. Additionally, Leda had 3 more daughters with Tyndareus named Timandra, Phoebe, and Philono. Leda's life was full of drama and intrigue, with many twists and turns. However, her love for her children was unwavering, and she did everything in her power to protect them from harm. Today, Leda is remembered as a fierce and loyal mother, whose legacy lives on through her famous offspring. Leda was a queen in ancient Greek mythology who was known for her beauty. She was often depicted with the swan, which was believed to be the god Zeus who had taken the form of the bird to seduce her. Leda gave birth to 4 children as a result of her encounter with Zeus, 2 boys and 2 girls. Over the centuries, Leda has been the subject of many art pieces. One of the most famous works inspired by her is William Butler Yeats' poem, Leda and the Swan, where the poet vividly describes their encounter. Another notable art piece is Honoré Desmond Scherer's painting, Leda and the Folks, which portrays Leda and her parents, as well as Elvis Presley's parents. Another artist who drew inspiration from Leda was Sidney Nolan, who created multiple interpretations of the myth in the mid-20th century. He explored the myths of the Trojan War and World War I through his depictions of Leda and the Swan. In recent times, Leda has once again served as inspiration for a song. Musician Hozier's Swan Upon Leda was written as a response to the Dobbs v. Jackson decision, which repealed Roe v. Wade. The song reflects on the idea of bodily autonomy and the choice to have children, which were central themes in the myth of Leda.
Do you want to explore more Greek mythology stories? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.